Hello Advisees, this is Mrs. Foes. This video is to go through the necessary requirements for an Associates of Science degree. So that's generally called a 2-year degree that you use to transfer to a 4-year university, and you'll get all your general education requirements out of the way so that when you go to the university you'll just take the requirements of your major. And depending on what classes are available, we can get you some classes that'll fit in there too. So there are 3 parts to an Associates of Science. There's the Gen Ed classes, there is additional Gen Eds, and electives. Okay, so let's start out with the Gen Ed. And this is an example from a student. You need 2 classes of English, English 1 and 2. You need a communications class. This student took public speaking, but you could take a couple different communications classes. We've got Intro to Interpersonal Communication and Intercultural Communication as well. Okay. Next, Arts and Humanities. So a heritage class is generally going to be a history. There are a few others that will work, and I'll show you where you can check what works and what doesn't here. Most students will take a World Civ class because that also meets another requirement. So you see the little star here? That means it's a cultural studies course. So one of the classes that you take, and it doesn't have to be in this category, it just has to be one that you take for your degree, has to be about something outside the U.S., outside of Kentucky. So world civilization, world history counts. Languages count. The history of Kentucky would not count because it's about Kentucky. If you take world religions, that would count too. But if you're taking like Christianity classes, that wouldn't because that's the dominant religion around here. So something that's a heritage class. And the next is a humanities. So there's like Intro to the Humanities, Intro to Music. Most students tend to do Intro to Art. Then we've got Social and Behavioral Sciences. So these are your psychology classes, your sociology classes. They're usually pretty fun. You can do the 100 levels, or you can do like a general course, general psych, and then you can do an upper level psychology. Next, you need 2 natural science classes and a lab. Okay, so this student did human ecology and the lab there, as well as conservation biology, which I taught. It's great. You can take a 4-credit class that would count that way, like an anatomy class. I only really recommend those for students thinking of going into medical fields, so otherwise it's a lot of work. General biology counts. We've got astronomy, we've got physics, chemistry, and a lot of different biologies. Microbes and society, conservation biology, ecology, and more. And next you need math. So 2 math classes at the 100+ level. So generally all students will do college algebra, math 150, and then a second class. So this student did statistics. That's probably the most common, but you can also take like trigonometry, for example, if that floats your boat more. The only differences here between Associates of Arts and Science is you would need 1 more social science for arts, and 1 less math. Here's where we have more differences. In Associates of Arts, you'll have 2 more arts classes, for example. Whereas in Associates of Science, you need 2 more math or science classes. So this student took biology and physics. And then you need 2 additional gen eds. So that can be anything related to these classes up here. So if you want to take another art class, you want to take another psychology class, another sociology class, those are great. English literature, another communications. Those could fit here. And then last, electives. So one of these electives has to be a computer class. You need to show digital literacy to graduate. So this student tested out of it. There is a program that you can do if you would like to. You can go to Building A to Student Success Center and take a test. It is a quite difficult test. This student had more computer background, so they took the test and did well, but I don't generally advise that. And then the rest of the classes can be anything. Business classes, more languages, more art. You could take computer classes. You could take more language. You could take medical terminology or human wellness. Those would all fit here. Okay. Other requirements, so students do more than they need. At least 1/4 of your classes must be through our school to get a degree through us. So out of 60, that's 15 credits. So that's 5 classes. Okay, great. Okay. If you're not sure what counts as a cultural studies or what counts as a social science versus a natural science, you can go to this website here and look at the course catalog. Okay. So it's a lot of pages. You don't want to look at all of them. That would take a long time. You're going to want to go right about to page 70 or so for this information. Okay. So right here. Perfect. Okay, so I'm in 72. This is showing us our gen ed requirements. So this shows you what counts in the written communication, English 1, 2. What counts as the oral communications. What counts under quantitative reasoning. And so it shows for different degrees. We're AS, so that would work for an Associates of Science. And then for natural sciences, these are all your options. So our school will not offer all of these. Some of them won't even be offered at any school. Some of them you might be able to find online. But I do recommend whenever possible to take in-person classes because students are generally far more successful. And if you want to try, if you want to try one, go for it. Do not do a full semester your first time online. That would be it wouldn't be good. Okay. So then in arts and humanities, you can go down to this page, 74. These are all the classes that count as a heritage. So it's things to do with world history. Pretty much. Okay. In humanities. And here's the ones that count as cultural studies. So cultural studies, those are the ones that don't necessarily have to fit in one specific category, but you do have to have one. So all of these courses count. You'll notice they have to do with things about outside of the U.S., outside of general, what you would consider like dominant culture of our area. Okay. So this has been information on the general components of an Associates in Science degree.